Hello everyone, this is Lady Al, Pastor Al coming to you today in my kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. Listen, today I am preparing dinner. We are hungry. We haven't really eaten today after worship. So I was thinking, what am I going to fix for dinner today? And I thought, you know what? We haven't had garlic chicken in a long time. And I had so much garlic. I had loaded up on garlic. I've been to the market and I loaded up on garlic, and I already had chicken in the freezer. So I don't want my garlic to go bad. So I thought, well, I'll do garlic chicken. So what I did is I used 2 bulbs of garlic. And this is how you pick garlic. Make sure when you're picking your garlic, you pick it and you purchase it with this hairy stem in the middle. Otherwise, if it's cut clean and flat, which you may like that, but your garlic is not going to be the freshest it can be. So try to get it like this, and then take your time and carefully trim it off if you don't like it. But actually, by the time you take this off, pull it apart, it doesn't really matter anyway. You're not going to use this, but it stays fresh. If it's flat, they probably treat it with chemicals. Treated it with chemicals so that it lasts longer, but it does not necessarily mean that it's fresh. So I like to cook it like, I like to pick it like this. So anyway, getting on with my chicken, I took 2 bulbs of garlic. This is the bulb. I used 2 whole bulbs. You may say, Pastor Al, that's a lot of garlic, right? It is. It's a lot of garlic, and you can use 1 or you can use a half if you want. But we have no problem with garlic. We love it. We don't have any issues with it. It doesn't seep through our skin, but it's okay. If you can omit it if you want to. You can use shallots. You could use onions if you want. But we like the flavor of fresh garlic. It's good for you, good for your blood pressure. Not that we have any issues, but we just like the taste of it, and it's healthy for you. So what I did is I took all the cloves apart, and I halved them and then cut them into little slithers like that. See? All right? Just like that. And then after I did that, I took about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. All right. I took a 1/4 cup of light olive oil and a 1/2 stick of plant butter. Melted it with the garlic inside till it gets like that. It's nice and tender. About 2 minutes in the microwave. All right. So then here's the plant butter that I like to use. I use it, I don't go all crazy with plant butter because, you know, butter is still butter. It's still a form of butter. It's a fat, but it's a healthier fat. It's 25% less saturated fat than butter. It also is 0 cholesterol, which is a plus. I use it in biscuits. I use it in cookies. I use it in baking, pie crust, things like that. But I also like it for this dish because it is another fat, but it's less. It's not unhealthy. It's healthier version. So I like to use this. All right. Okay. Remember, sparingly, even though it's still not free, but you can use it with a good conscience, a better conscience. It's healthier for you. So a 1/2 stick of plant butter melted with about a 1/4 cup of light olive oil. Okay. And so what I did is I cleaned my chicken. I have drumsticks that I chose. All right. And I cleaned them, and it's just a little yellow cartilage on the base of the bone area of the drumstick. Clean that off. All right. Right here. All right. And what I did is I seasoned my chicken. I have a special blend that I use. I make my own seasoning. Basically, you can do it too if you have all the seasoning. I have so many seasonings in my cupboard. I have like a whole cabinet of seasonings, and you know that's what makes food taste good. All right, you can use seasonings and use less salt. So in my seasonings, you'll find black pepper, salt, and you'll find garlic, and you'll also find some thyme. Thyme just brings out the flavor in chicken. Unbelievable. That little spice. Fresh is good, and dry goes a long way. You don't have to worry about storage. So my chicken is already seasoned, and I'm going to finish it off with a little paprika and more parsley flakes, and I'm going to top it with my garlic chicken. So here's how it goes. So this is my pan. I'm gonna move the butter out the way, move my things out the way. All right, it's good to have a space that's nice and clear so that you know what you're working with. So this is the way I do my chicken. I've done it like this forever in a day, whether I was catering or whether I'm home. It just makes it nice and easy. So here's what you do. I don't want to touch the raw chicken with my hands. That's why I have tongs. Keep my hands clean. So here we go. It's just really simple. I just do them up and down. It's just a preference. You don't have to. You do it the way you want to do it. This is just the way I like to do it, and it works for me. And also, again, like I said, when I was catering, I did the very same thing. All right. So I am arranging my chicken. All right. And I have a pack of like 18. All right. And I'm really trying to cook for a couple days. We'll see how it goes. About a couple days. So I don't like to cook every day if I can help it. I don't mind cooking, but I can do some other things because I do everything from scratch. I don't do box mixes. Everything I cook is from scratch. And if you don't have time to do that, kudos to you just for doing what you do the way you do it. You do it well and you rock. All right. So here we go. Almost done. So it's going to fit. Okay, one pan. It's going to work with just one pan. I had 2 pans just in case. So I have one pan and it works, and that's how we do it. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my garlic and olive oil and plant butter mixture, and I'm going to just top it off with my garlic mixture. You may say, Pastor Al, that's just too much garlic for me. Well, you know, like I said, use a half bulb, or don't use garlic at all. Use onion or use shallot. Shallot's is sweeter. I'm sure that would be fabulous. Shallot, chicken, chicken. That would be absolutely delicious. One day, I'm going to show you how I stuff these bad boys, all right, with something else. I'm not going to tell you. I'll keep it as a surprise, all right? But I'm just topping my chicken with my garlic mixture. I know I have quite a bit, but I'm going to use probably just about all of it. If I don't use all of it, I'll use the rest in my green beans. I'm trying not to touch the chicken because once you touch the chicken with a spoon, in the mixture, you can't use it on anything else other than chicken, or unless you're going to use it right away. I wouldn't tell you to do that. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not healthy. You got to be careful about cross-contamination. All right. So again, I'm going to go back over and see if I missed any spaces with some garlic, because I want all my chicken covered with some kind of garlic. All right. Garlic oil and garlic cloves. All right, and it's going to be good. Bishop loves garlic, and I do too. And I think Evan likes garlic so much. He doesn't like mushrooms. Evan doesn't like mushrooms, so I don't really use mushrooms except if it's on pizza, and I can kind of space it out so that he has a place so that he won't have to have mushroom, right, Evan? Okay, almost done. So I'm using all of it, as you can see. I'm using all of it, and I have set aside some garlic for my vegetables for later. All right, so there you go. That's my chicken topped with garlic. All right, the garlic mixture. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a few of green parsley flakes on top. All right, more flavor and another added layer of color, interest, and seasoning. No salt whatsoever. All right. And then I'm going to finish it off with some paprika. And you can use any kind of paprika you want to. You can use smoked. Might be a little heavy, though, for chicken. So I would recommend just plain paprika. This is not spicy. This is not spicy. Again, this is not hot pepper. It's not spicy. It's just paprika. All right? It's just a sweet that gives color to your meat, your dishes, All right, makes it pretty, but also it helps it to brown nice and golden. All right, so just covering it up there, just a little bit, not a lot. All right, so all right, have my seasonings and all. Of course, again, my chicken has been seasoned. You season to taste the way you like. All right, I have my mixture. I seasoned my chicken, garlic mixture, paprika, parsley. Now I'm going to put this chicken in an oven at 375 degrees for about 30 minutes. And then I'm going to turn it down to 350 for about another hour. Why that long? I like my chicken to be nice and tender, falling off the bone, all right? So again, 375 for 30 minutes, then I'll turn it down to 350 for an hour. So, all right, and I'm going to top it off right now with another layer of parchment paper. This is just parchment paper. I'm going to spray it just a little bit with a little bit of cooking spray so that the seasoning, the garlic, doesn't stick to the parchment paper, because we want the seasoning to stay on the chicken, not on the paper. Is that good? I like parchment paper. It's a healthier version, healthy alternative rather than aluminum foil. All right, aluminum foil is good for certain things and it's good for a lot of things actually, but I like to try to keep it as clean as possible, and just parchment paper is a healthier choice for covering your foods. All right, so I see you back in about maybe an hour and a half. All right, stay tuned. I'll be back with you. Hey, it's Pastor Al. I am back. Still waiting for the chicken. A few more minutes. Just a couple little reminders about the chicken. So I forgot to tell you that when you before you put the chicken in the oven, after you season it, put the garlic on it and all that, and you put a layer of parchment paper. What I like to do is I like to take the same width and same pan. So I have like about 3 or 4 of these. But if you have another pan the same size as the pan that your chicken is in, take it and put it, well, you don't need this because you already have a layer of parchment paper on top, right? So take the same size pan you're using with the chicken in it and put it on top. And then put it in the oven. Why? Because it helps to seal in the juices, and just putting a layer of parchment paper would dry the chicken out a little bit. And you won't get the desired effect you want. So you put this on top, all right? And then put it in the oven. If you don't have another pan the same size as the pan with your chicken in it, just put a layer of foil and cover it tightly over top of the parchment paper, all right? But anyway, and you can also use any part of the chicken you want. You can use breast, you can use thighs if you want to. I think I kind of prefer dark meat for this dish, but you can use breast if you want to. That would be fine. You can do that. Just remember to put the parchment paper on top of the garlic mixture with the parsley and the paprika, and then put the pan on top, or put a layer of foil on top of your parchment paper that's on top of the chicken. Okay? And the last 15 minutes, so I'm in my last 15 minutes of the chicken, but before that, I basted the chicken about after the first hour. I basted the chicken, put it back in the oven, and then just the last 15 minutes, uncover the chicken, take everything off, and just turn it back up to 375 and let the chicken brown. And then you're going to have something really wonderful that you might like. All right, so now I'm going to make biscuits. So I'm not doing a carb today for my side. I'm doing green beans, carrots, and pepper mixture as a side for our vegetables. We like vegetables, so I know they'll be happy with that. And so, but I'm doing biscuits. So I'm going to I have 3 cups of unbleached flour, and you want unbleached flour, and I like to use King Arthur flour. Some people may say, that's expensive, Pastor Al. Just get a 5-pound bag of gold medal for $1.99, and you could do that if you want to, but it's not unbleached, it's bleached. And anything bleached, like white rice, white flour. It's not good for your arteries, not really good for you. So you want to keep things moving. You don't want things to be sticking around all in there. So, and yeah, it might cost a little, like about $3.59. But I also like to go to Trader Joe's, and they have basically the same thing for $2.99. All right. So I had 3 cups of unbleached flour. You can use whatever flour you want. If you're still a stickler for gold medal or the other kind, hey, be my guest. Just do not use self-rising. You'll have a mess. So this is not self-rising. I don't even buy it because I don't want to get confused. All right. So you can make your own if you want to and just have it on hand for pancakes or whatever, or for like this. You can add your own baking powder, your salt, whatever. But anyway, this is not self-rising. This is just unbleached flour. 3 cups. I have, let's see, I have 1 teaspoon of salt. All right, already in here. 2 teaspoons of sugar. All right, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. All right, and I'm also going to be using a stick of plant butter. I've already cut it up. All right, I have 2 eggs I'm about to beat, and I'm going to add in a cup of buttermilk. All right here, I'm going to add a cup of buttermilk to my eggs. All right, eggs and biscuits. Yep. Eggs and biscuits. It's like a binder, brings everything together. All right, so here's my cup of buttermilk. I'm using a cup of buttermilk. All right, cup of buttermilk, taking to the edge there. I'm going to add it to my egg mixture. I have removed all my rings from my fingers because this time, unlike touching the chicken, I want to get in there and I really want to touch the dough. I want to bring it together. I'm going to break it up a little bit with the fork. All right, but then I'm going to get in there with my hands and I'm going to make sure that the butter or the plant butter and the flour is all combined together. And I don't have a biscuit cutter or pie pastry cutter, and that's okay. I don't like a lot of gadgets. I really don't. I really don't like a lot of gadgets in my kitchen. I just don't. I'd rather just keep it real simple. And I'm good with that, okay? All right, so I'm going to add my butter to, already there's 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to add my butter to this mixture, okay? And then I'm going to, all right, so I'm going to do this. It's probably a faux pas, but I'm going to do it. I'm just going to take and blend it together. All right, just going to blend it together like that. Real simple. And the plant butter is not, it's not hard. I don't want to get messy, but all right, you know, I'm good. I'm not going anywhere right now. So after I'm done with this, we're going to be putting the grub on, okay? All right, so I am mixing it all together with my fork. All right, and basically you're just pressing it down, getting the butter or the plant butter blended with the flour mixture, okay? All right, so we don't eat biscuits all the time, certainly not as much in the summer as we might do in the winter with soups. And today, again, since we're not eating carbs today, so to speak, we're going to eat biscuits with our vegetables and our chicken, all right? So I've taken it all that I could, as far as I could go with this fork. I'm going to get in there. Before I go in there, I'm going to just put my eye on my chicken real quick. Almost. So here we go. Sleeves up. And I'm just going to get in there. And what I'm doing is I'm blending everything together. Blending it till I see that the butter, the plant butter is incorporated with the flour. Okay? That's all I'm doing. Not all drawn out, nothing fancy. And I've also covered my workspace with plastic. Why? I could have used parchment paper, but parchment paper is going to slide everywhere. And it's a little bit more expensive than plastic, and I don't want to just use it, you know, frivolously. So I covered my work area. So when I'm done mixing it, I can turn everything out into the plastic and use it as my workspace. So I can lay out my biscuit mixture and I can cut them and basically just put them right from here onto the tray. And my tray is already lined with parchment paper. Just kind of think out what you want to do when you're cooking. So you don't have to be running around here. Oh, I gotta get the flour. Oh, I gotta get the salt. I gotta get, you know, try to have everything with you so that you don't have to be running around grabbing things. So now I blended it, and this is what it looks like. Kind of crumbly, like a rich kind of flour mixture, you know, almost like a pie crust blend before you add your ice water. And we'll do a pie crust mixture one day soon. But right now we're doing biscuits. So this is my eggs, my 2 eggs, and my 1 cup of buttermilk. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in here. And I had a little extra buttermilk and a little bit of almond milk just in case. Sometimes, you never know, it mixes a little different. All right, and this is, I'm blending it kind of carefully. I don't want to stir it too much because you can make your batter, your dough tough. All right, so I'm gonna add just a little bit more of buttermilk. I have a little bit left. I've been using it. Okay, so just a little bit. I just want to blend all the flour together. Move my things out this way. Okay. I can smell that chicken. Wow. It smells really good in this kitchen now, you know? It really smells good. I can remember, you know, whenever I would be working and I was running, if I had finished a job at my commercial kitchen, I ran a church for midweek worship on a Wednesday after cooking all day, didn't have time to go home, change clothes. People would say, "Where have you been? You smell so good." I could have been frying chicken. I could have been baking chicken. Who knows what we were doing, but people could smell that I had been cooking. That's not necessarily a bad thing. But anyway, so here's the dough mixture right there. All right, it's all blended. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to douse my workspace. And that means just to throw it like that. Okay, with a little bit of flour so that the biscuit mixture will not stick to the plastic. It's going to stick a little bit. Well, I'm good with it, but we don't want all of it to stick, okay? So I'm going to turn it out like that. And still a little bit of flour in there too. Okay, still a little bit. I have my rings off, which is good. Okay, and what I'm going to do, move these out of the way. Okay, so just going to douse a little bit more. I'm going to get my rolling pin. That's one thing I forgot to get. Forgot to get my rolling pin. Give me 1 second. Get my rolling pin. I'm going to check my chicken real quick just to see how it's coming along. Have my rolling pin. I'm going to douse that with a little bit of flour as well, because I don't want that to stick to my biscuit mixture either. So I don't want to mix it. Don't spend a lot of time mixing the mixture because you'll make your biscuits tough. So just carefully roll out. Don't press down too hard. Take it very, you know, very gently, right? Very gently. And I'm rolling it out probably about maybe 3/4 of an inch. And here's a trick I learned from catering and watching so many cooking shows. Okay? So I'm going to take it over like this. All right? This is going to allow your biscuits to rise high, be nice and fluffy. All right? So I'm taking it like that. Okay? All right? And then I'm going to bring it this way. Okay, again, making the biscuits fluffy and high. Okay, all right, and you know, maybe you're not into biscuits, that's okay, you know, but you never know. You might need a nice biscuit recipe sometime in the future for your children, your grandchildren, or for future husbands or for your husbands. It's better than buying a can, and it's cheaper than buying the can. It's healthier than buying the can. Not that biscuits are necessarily very healthy, but listen, so I told you I don't have biscuit cutters and a lot of gadgets. So I take what I have and whatever I have and I use it. And that's good so that you understand, you know, if you don't have it, what can you do? Can I not make biscuits because I don't have a biscuit cutter? Of course not. You can make biscuits. So this is just one of those shake containers. All right. I'm just dousing, making sure it does not stick to my biscuits because it would be hard to cut through because it's kind of thick. All right, again, go down. All right. I can smell that chicken, boy. I'm telling you, it is smelling so good. So we're going to bake these biscuits at 440 degrees for about maybe 15 minutes. I would just keep a watch on them. I would keep my eye on them. All right, but about I would say about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, depending on what kind of stove, whether it's gas or electric. I find that gas ranges that they cook a whole lot quicker than electric, and I prefer gas over electric. But if you don't have gas, what are you going to do? You're going to cook an electric stove. That's what you're going to do. All right, so, all right, and then what I do is I just bring the scraps back together again, and I repeat the process. All right, because I want to use it all. I wouldn't throw this away. No, sir. And listen, say you don't want all these biscuits, then you can half the recipe, or you can cook them all and you can save them for a day, like a snowy day. Put them in the freezer in a nice plastic bag. Freeze the cooked biscuits. Freeze them. You can freeze them. You can freeze them. The cooked biscuits. In the freezer. I wouldn't say to freeze the raw dough because they're working, these are not pasteurized eggs and that might not work health-wise. All right, so I would say, I know you can freeze them cooked, so I would freeze them cooked, pull them out, let them thaw at room temperature, and you've got yourself some, and it don't taste frozen. They do not taste like they've been frozen. All right, so here we go. All right, so these are rest. And what I do with the last few scraps, I just kind of bring it together myself with my own hands and just form it again. All right, until every scrap is used. I don't like to throw anything away. All right, so there we go. Oh, that chicken smells so good. I'm telling you, I believe it is. I really believe it's ready. It was just about brown, so I'm gonna let you see it in a minute, and I'll have to turn the oven up to 440 degrees for these biscuits. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bring back the biscuits, the cooked biscuits, and the chicken in a minute so you can see everything complete. All right, so we're gonna pause for a minute, right? Come back in a minute. All right, God bless. Hello. All right, so we're back, and the chicken is done. Yum. And you know, what happens is that when the garlic melts down and cooks with the chicken, it almost has like a candy consistency. It's not candy. It's no sugar in it. No sugar, but it just has that real good caramelization, and it just melts in your mouth. So it's not bitter. It's not strong. It has married with the flavors of the chicken, and it is so good. I'm going to try one in a minute. And my biscuits, wow, look at my biscuits. They are great. And listen, so what happens is that when you do that layering, like I showed you, the folding of the dough, of the biscuit dough, you have that, you know, you have that fluffiness. Look at that. Look at that, right? So I'm gonna try, you know, my own food, but I'm gonna take a piece. I don't want to get too much because I'm gonna eat dinner shortly. So here's one of the drumsticks. I'm gonna try that. I may have a little bit of vegetables. I made some green beans, carrots, and peppers to go with it. So it's kind of like a French country thing going on. But, so people may say, well, Pastor L, where's the sauce? Where's the gravy? We're not really big gravy eaters. If I made it, it would just sit for maybe a week or so. So I don't really do gravy. But if you want to do a little gravy with a little bit of the pan drippings, go ahead. I'm still, although it's not necessarily a light meal, but I'm trying to keep it a little on the kind of light side. So I'm going to try my chicken right now. It smells so good. It smells so good. Oh, and it's so tender. It's so good. Sorry. And look, the chicken is so tender. See, look. It's not dry. It's so tender. And like I said, if you want to do gravy, but we're not big gravy eaters, so. Try my biscuit. I don't have anything on it, but you can put butter or jelly or whatever, but just plain biscuit right out of the pan. Still hot. So good. Nice and brown. See? Good. Quick Sunday meal. A quick Sunday meal. I didn't really know what I was going to do today other than garlic chicken, so I threw it together, the vegetables, made biscuits, and we're done. And that's it for the day. So join me another time. I'm still licking my lips. Join me next time. You never know what's going to come up. Maybe you'll see me next week, but maybe you'll try this dish. Try it. Your family may like it. If you don't like the garlic, like I said, use onions or use something like shallots. It'll come out great. Love you guys so much, and grace and peace be unto you, and peace be multiplied.